And we are live. Hello.
Hola.
Did you miss us? We missed you. Also, fuck Pfizer. Because that's
We just mean to say that we want to make love to Pfizer because we like Pfizer so much.
yeah,
That's why we
we
want to
yeah,
fuck Pfizer.
we literally when we say fuck Pfizer, we want to like get down and dirty with those bitches.
Yeah.
Wink wonk. Alright, so how's you guys?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. It's been a productive weekend. Finished a couple of pages, and I went to see the new Gerard Butler movie. Uh, Plane. It was okay,
And
in case you guys were wondering.
yeah. And Mega, what about you?
Well, I finished all the $200 commissions that I had, and I
Nice.
took a week of rest because I have been extremely tired.
Oh, well, as for me, I met a friend. He is a firefighter slash paramedic, and today we went to the ruins of Pachacamac. It's like a temple complex that Canales' forefathers destroyed,
You're welcome.
and it was really neat. I got to take a bunch of pictures that I'm going to post somewhere.
I saw some of them, and I gotta say, I really like your "I'm a British lady going to the races" look with the what how do you say the wide brim hat. It was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
well,
Mm.
granted, it's like very sunny out, and I don't have enough sunblock.
Yeah, and your Germanic descent makes you suffer when that happens, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyways, so yeah, I'm kind of tired because I got the pain in my eyes. But anyways, let's get going. Do you have any comments? No. Where's our loyal followers? Come back. We miss you.
Let's see if there. Yeah, there's nobody in the comments because we've been
Oh.
out for a long time, so they
Yeah,
probably
where are
forgot
you,
about us.
Paolo? Maniac Man, Hero.
Mm.
Come on, guys. Anyways, let's start with the first news item on our list. So Biden event turns down Ohio's request for disaster assistance after toxic derailment. But yeah, we were gone for so long that a lot of shit happened. So, a backstory in was it East Palestine or Palestine, however they pronounce it, Ohio. They had
I've heard
this
Palestine. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know.
yeah, there was this train derail that like put like this toxic chemical in the air, and the government is saying that everything's fine, but as we will see, everything is not fine. So,
Oh,
Biden administration.
we have a viewer. We have Robert Stringfellow in the comment section. Hello, Robert. Glad you could join
Hello,
us.
sir.
Hi there.
I haven't seen you before, but hello. Welcome to the show. Anyways, where were we? Uh, there we go. The Biden administration turned down a request for federal disaster assistance from Ohio Governor Mike DeWine in the aftermath of the train derailment in the state that led to toxic chemicals. FEMA says that it's not eligible for disaster assistance to help the community recover from the toxic spill. Um, and the DeWine government has been in daily contact with FEMA to discuss the need, but they continue to say that he's not eligible. I have a hunch, maybe, just maybe, it's because this DeWine guy, he has an R after his name.
That's a cool
What do you
name.
think?
Is he a Republican or a Democrat?
Right here, Ohio
Republican.
Republican governor.
Okay, yeah, that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, but what happened is like people are getting sick, and a bunch of chickens and foxes are dying. Animals are getting sick. People are. I think one kid said there's one news report says that something his eyes were bloodshot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would click on this link here, but this says all that needs to be said here. Pete Buttigieg blames Trump for Ohio train derailment.
What up,
Yeah, because
niggas?
Oh shit!
hey,
Oh,
it's the big man.
shit.
Woo!
What up?
Nada.
You got it. So tell us about your experience.
Well, first, how do I sound?
Like shit.
You're a little bit of
Yeah.
staticky, but you're coming in.
You sound
I'm a
like
little
you're
stiff.
yeah, you sound like you're calling us from inside a car, like a moving car
Really?
somewhere on the highway. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, I think I know what I can do to fix that.
But
Is
yeah,
that any better?
yeah, slightly.
Yeah, it's like there's noise, there's less background noise, but yeah, it's still not perfect.
You guys keep going. I'll catch up.
All right.
But yeah, Pete Buttigieg, he's not doing anything, and so far it sounds like that whatever that train company, Norfolk Southern, and the Department of Transportation and FEMA are probably going to pass the bag between all of them while these people suffer.
There ain't
Yeah,
no
that
money to
Norfolk
do nothing.
Southern.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there
Well,
ain't no
you
money
said
to
it.
do anything. We sent it all to Ukraine.
I mean, what are they gonna give Ohio? Like whatever they're carrying in their wallets? They just send like how much is another 100 billion to Ukraine? Biden said that they
Yeah,
need to pay the
something like
pensions
that.
of
They ain't
Ukrainians.
gonna do shit for Americans anymore. They took all the money, and they fucking laundered it through Ukraine, and now they're dragging us into World War III with Russia as the bad guys. We're gonna be the bad guys in this.
Oh, fuck me. Hey, anyways, hey, you know what? It's current year. Why can't Ohio identify as Ukraine?
You've seen that
dude.
meme? Yeah. You've seen that Mike the Wine meme in which he's wearing a Zelensky mask, and he's like, "Well, there goes nothing."
I did see, dude, and if any government official in Ohio just said, "I identify as Ukraine," now can I have some fucking money, you crook? Oh man, that would be the baller move.
Yeah. But yeah, I was saying before, there's a link here that says that Pete Buttigieg blames Trump for the Ohio train derailment. Oh yeah, like Donald Trump went all the way from Mar-a-Lago to Ohio to, I don't know, do something to cause that train derailment and go back to Florida. He's
I mean,
truly the worst human being alive.
he doesn't believe anything. He just knows that saying "but Trump" makes all the people he wants to appeal to look in the other direction.
I know that
It's working.
Spanish politicians. I know that Spanish politicians have been doing that for generations. It's a recurring gag here in any politically comical show. Portray a Spanish politician saying this is all the fault of the previous administration. You know, they fuck things up, and the next administration will say that about this current administration. That's how it goes.
Yeah. Oh, and here, look on the side. 5 dirtiest cities in America run by Democratic mayors, study says. So, yeah. I guess that's my take on this story. I'm not really too invested in it because there's no hope. Right. But we do have Mr. Senator J.D. Vance showing that everything is completely fine in Ohio. Everything is completely fine. We don't need to worry about anything.
Hey guys, so I'm here at Leslie Run, and there's dead worms and dead fish all throughout this water. Something I just discovered is that if you scrape,
That's a really bad sign.
it's like chemical is coming out of the ground. Can you show? Can you come here? And let me just show this to people. I don't know if you're going to see this on camera, but watch this. Just see that chemical pop out of the creek. This is disgusting. And the fact that we have not cleaned up the train crash, the fact that these chemicals are still seeping in the ground is an insult to the people who live in East Palestine. Do not forget these people. We've got to keep applying pressure. That's how we're going to fix this problem. Thank you.
But
Hey guys,
Buttigieg
here
and
at
Cole,
Leslie
they
Run.
say they're saying everything is fine. Everything is completely fine.
This shit's all intentional.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
there
all
was
meant
like
to-
another. Oh, and check
all-
this out. If this shit gets into the Ohio River Basin, look where this shit's gonna go. Let's see, parts of Missouri's gonna be fucked. Arkansas is gonna be fucked. Louisiana gonna be fucked.
The entire purpose is to make us desperate enough to comply with authority.
I mean, we're all saying that because this shit happened in Ohio and it also happened in Georgia, right? And also in
There were like
That
Texas.
was
three of them. Yeah.
Texas.
Like it's
I
happening
heard there was a
in like,
fourth one.
yeah, it's happening in like either Republican states or swing states. Convenient.
Yeah, very
Oh.
convenient.
I come from railroad people, believe it or not. I grew up around railroad people. And I have family that died on the railroad.
Ooh.
And I have family. How the railroad changed over time to become what it is now. And I saw how the railroad fucked them over.
I saw somewhere else that some left-tard was like saying have this device that you can easily derail a train with that can be like 3D printed, and I'm like, that's not gonna. No, what? But yeah, here's a little comic.
Yeah.
That's basically the Biden administration summed up.
It's funny, I'm a white guy and I worked construction. Fuck you, Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah.
Construction was... I went directly to construction when I decided New York was over.
Oh shit.
I was trying to look for
Oh shit.
this other video that came out where someone like threw a rock into like a body of water and like all these chemicals came out.
What are you shitting on, Mega?
I'm working on a 3D model for a person, and it's a female from King of Fighters, and I didn't notice until now, but she has a huge ass.
Nice.
Would
Oh, damn it, Canales! I was gonna do that. I was gonna say, Mega,
I'm just
would you agree
faster
that she
and a
has
better.
a
and a
great
better-
ass?
Yeah, I'm just a better and faster Al Pacino impersonator. You not people like me.
You're lucky. You're cute, Canales. Ebi Canales.
This
Anyway,
is true. My beauty has saved
speaking
me.
of Al Pacino, I went to one of those like fairs, and I got a huge book of breaking down all of Al Pacino's films. So I'm working my way slowly through it. Anyways, let's do the next story. A good one. I thought it would. From the Free Press. I thought I was saving trans kid. Now I'm blowing the whistle. Pro tip: there's no such thing as trans kids.
I'm beginning to think if there's such a thing. I'm beginning to doubt that there's such a thing as trans people at all. I'm no offense, just but I'm beginning to think that it is just a disorder that sometimes can be treated with surgery and you know, and hormone
And you
therapy and all
and
that.
you would be and you would be right.
Like
But
there's no
me,
such thing as trans, you know.
It's
but me,
it's not
yeah.
it's not hard. It's not like you're an elf in D&D. It's not hardwired. It's a multi-class. You can change the class, you can customize the direction of the class. It's a predilection that starts somewhere and either uh, gets bigger or gets
Mhm.
smaller. So if the predilection gets bigger, then it's harder to treat and it's harder to deal with. If it gets smaller, then you're dealing with it.
So, by Jamie Reed. I'm a 42-year-old St. Louis native, a queer woman. I bet she's some type of lesbian. And politically to the left of Bernie Sanders. My worldview has deeply shaped my career. I have spent my professional life providing counseling to vulnerable populations, children in foster care, sexual minorities, and the poor. For almost 4 years, she worked at the Washington University School of Medicine Division of Infectious Diseases with teens and young adults who were HIV positive. Many of them were trans or gender nonconforming. She said that she is married to a trans man and they are raising her two biological children from a previous marriage and three foster children. Okay. So in 2018, she got a job at the Washington University Transgender Center at St. Louis Children's Hospital, which had been established a year earlier. Their assumption was that the earlier you treat kids with gender dysphoria, the more anguish you can prevent later on. And it was shared by the center's doctors and therapists. And during the 4 years she worked there, she was responsible for patient intake and oversight. Around 1,000 distressed young people came through our doors, and the majority of them received hormone prescriptions that can have life-altering consequences, including sterility. She left the clinic in November of last year because she could no longer participate in what was happening there. And she also said that the way the American medical system is treating these patients is the opposite of the promise we make to do no harm. Instead, we are permanently harming the vulnerable patients. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. They tell her to keep her head gaze down. So it starts here. Let's see. Soon
That that
after.
before we continue, that keep your head down shit is fucking poison.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
I
gonna
when
do
I
that now.
I got it all the time when I was growing up. Like when I was in school and teachers would do shit that was wrong, I'd be told to just suck it up and keep my fucking head down. No, man. And that's what I got my whole life. Even when I started getting my first jobs and I was like, there's something fucking wrong here with, whatever, various things, shitty managers, whatever. Just shut up and keep your head down. Fuck you. Fuck everyone who told me that. And fuck everyone who does that. You're why this shit happens.
I guess it's the same case for me. That's where my problems with authority began. I remember
Very
a
much so.
time. Yeah, I remember this one time when I was in grade school here in Bilbao in the Icastola. A bunch of junkies were actually using at our school because it was like still half built and there was this part that was still in construction. It was really easy to sneak in, and those guys would routinely go there and shoot up heroin. And one time we actually ran into them when we were kids. We were like, I don't know, five, something like that. And we went to tell the teachers and they just shrugged. They were like, you know, What are you gonna do?
You're gonna fucking chase them away with baseball bats and put a couple
They're
in the
fucking
hospital.
shooting up heroin in front of 5-year-old kids. For fuck's
Yeah.
sake, do something, Jesus.
No, that's just daily life in like Ohio. No, not Ohio, Oregon. Oregon or Seattle. Okay, so Jamie says at first the patient population was traditional, which was a boy, often quite young, who wanted to present as a girl, but until 2015, it was a very small number of these boys. Then there was a dramatic increase of the new population. Teenage girls, many with no previous history of gender distress, declaring that they were transgender and demanding immediate treatment with testosterone. Let's see. When she started, there was only 10 calls a month. When she left, there were 50, and about 70% of the new patients were girls. And sometimes clusters of girls arrive from the same high school. It's called what it is. It's a social contagion.
It's women, females, girls, however you want to qualify it, are total herd animals. They are herd animals. They do what everyone else does, and they are viciously hostile to what everyone else isn't doing. It's an evolved mechanism. They do it because that's how they stay. Like if you think about how humanity developed, that's how they stay safe. They needed the herd, but that's being used. It's being used as like a lasso to get them to do stupid shit. So what happens is the one person does it and they get all this attention, and there's the whole thing about like medical attention. Girls do this. I think women use the medical system for attention way more than males. And if they weren't allowed to do it, we'd unclog the medical system hugely. Think about how many women you know who I have this syndrome and this disability and this thing, and it's all fucking bullshit. They do it because what happens when you go to the hospital or the doctors, you get tons of attention and it's all positive attention. It's Munchausen syndrome.
Actually, it's fun
Yeah,
that you mentioned that, Midnight,
basically.
because recently in Mexico there was a huge controversy because they want to give a work pass for women who have huge menstrual pains. But what one of the reporters who was discussing this topic mentioned how the doctor is going to be 100% that the woman is having menstrual pain because there is no exact way to know it. How do we know they're lying?
Right. It's just, and also, how do we know? And I have relatives who have that issue. Like it fucking knocks them over for days. Fine, but we can't make exceptions. Like
Yeah.
we have to. Like that's not equality. So we have to adjust society to recognize that they
Yeah.
can't do those jobs.
I get really bad periods too, and I still have to work through them. I can't just lay down and die, even though I want to, but you gotta just push through it.
I went to high school with this girl who I think she was part of a twin. I don't know if they were lying. Her and her sister told a lot of fibs, but they were in the same grade. But they could have been Irish twins. You know what an Irish twin is?
Yeah.
It's like you have the baby, and then 9 months later you have another baby.
Oh
I don't
shit.
know why it's called Irish twins, but it is. But they might have been twins. They looked somewhat different. So maybe they were fraternal, but both female. They were not identical. But one of the girls was sometimes in a wheelchair, but most of the time, you know those crutches that are like they have the forearm things
Oh yeah.
and the
Yeah.
handles.
Yeah.
She was on those things most of the time. And very rarely she'd like walk somewhere, but like most of the time she was either in a wheelchair or on those crutches. Most of the time on those crutches. And there was something in my head. Like I remember asking her about like, so why are you on crutches? Like what happened? Like there's one kid that was born with like, I don't know, spina bifida or something. He's in a wheelchair. Well, dude, you have a fucking spinal deformity. Of course you're in a wheelchair. But she could never say. And then I met her parents, and her dad was a complete fucking asshole. And her mom was kind of like a weak, manipulative bitch. And this suspicion in my head came that one day she just decided I can't walk. They'll be nice to me if I can. Like, not forwardly, consciously. It's like when you're really young, you do weird shit for reasons that you kind of understand but don't. And it worked.
It's an
So
instinctive thing. Like you just try to, I don't
Yeah.
know, garner your parents' attention
right.
and
Well, and
affection. Like you don't even know what you're really
definitely
doing because you're a kid. Yeah.
I mean, there's
like
literally people also they're willingly chopping off limbs or
yeah.
pouring Drano in their bleach because they have a desire to be disabled.
And her dad was such an abusive asshole. Like her sister ended up a major junkie. I think she might have died of an OD.
Oh,
Think
sad.
she might have died. But like I've heard stories about her sister like living in these weird junkie cottages. Like that's how bad it got. Like she was all fucked up. So I understand why she did it, but it was not. And then over time, like if you're walking with those crutches, your legs aren't developing the way they're going to, so you end up with some form of disability.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that episode of Hey Arnold in which Phoebe pretends to have a broken leg in order to keep getting a lot of attention.
That what happened? His leg got all atrophied.
Yeah. No, she broke her leg and she got over it. She recovered. But she enjoyed so much the attention of the other students that she pretended that she still was injured.
That happens.
Yeah.
Mhm. Let's see. So she, excuse me. There's Muish interference here. So obviously this person was concerned, and from the team, only her and this other person wanted to ask the questions, but they didn't want to at risk of being called a transphobe. Oh no, here's the juicy part. The girls who came to us had many comorbidities: depression, anxiety, ADHD, obesity. Many were diagnosed with autism or had autism-like symptoms. A report last year on a British pediatric transgender center found about one-third of the patients referred there were on the autism spectrum. And frequently, patients would declare that they had disorders that no one believed they had. Like someone said they had Tourette's syndrome, but they didn't. Tic disorders, again, they didn't. And multiple personalities doesn't really exist. Um, let's
Which
see.
backs
The
up what I said
doctors
earlier, where
reckon.
it's like a collection
Mhm.
of disorders purposed to. It's like, dude, chicks look at personality as like a fucking charm bracelet, and they just collect as many adjectives as they can, thinking that it gives them a personality. But that's not how personality works.
Right, and it even says in this paragraph, it says the doctors recognize these false diagnoses as social contagion, but the doctor said that gender identity was innate when all these girls coming into the gender clinic for their gender treatment. And usually, let's see, um, so many encounters, a lot of patients don't even know what all these things do would have in their bodies and minds, but the center downplayed the negative consequences. In fact, on the website, it says left untreated gender dysphoria has any number of consequences from self harm to suicide. Hence, the old adage these tunes like to bring out. Would you rather? Would you rather prefer a dead? Would you rather prefer like a healthy daughter slash son over a dead son daughter?
I mean,
Depending
I'd
on
rather find out where I failed for that kid to be that messed up,
yeah.
and then I'd rather address that root cause.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time, it's because the parents fucked up somewhere.
Mm-hmm. So one example was Jamie got a email from a colleague about a 15-year-old male patient. Oh dear, I'm concerned that the patient does not understand what bicalutamide does. And Jamie responded, I don't think that we start anything honestly right now. And what
Say
this
that again.
medication does, it's called bicalutamide.
Uh-huh.
Bicalutamide. It's a medication used to treat metastatic prostate cancer, and one of the side effects is that it feminizes the bodies of men who take it, including the appearance of breast. And the center prescribed this cancer drug as a puberty blocker and feminizing agent for boys.
It's fucking New
So
England territory.
yeah, so basically, this transition center is literally giving like cancer drugs, and one of the side effects is liver toxicity. And so they sent him to a different part of the hospital and immediately taking off the drug. Let's see. Another one was illustrated by a call received at the center from a 17-year-old biological female patient who was on testosterone. She said she was bleeding heavily from the area. In less than an hour, she soaked through an extra heavy pad, her jeans, and a towel she wrapped around her waist. The nurse told her to go to the emergency room right away. And it was later found out that this girl had intercourse, and because testosterone thins the tissues,
Oh boy.
her her lady cave had ripped open.
Shit.
It's awful.
Christ.
Yeah.
Was
And
that the
so
cat?
she was sedated and given surgery. Yeah, Luna can't believe this shit either. So you know where the Muse stand on gender ideology and all that. They disavow.
The
They
things
say
that they're doing to
Myoibe, shut
young
it
people, man,
down.
it's so irreversible. It's so irreversible. Just in the last 6 years, the things that they've done to at this, like if you include the
And then
thing that gets us banned for two
Actually,
weeks.
Shane Davis was talking about this yesterday because, he has with Jency the little pterodactyl and they have to take it her
yeah,
to the
I
pediatrician.
yeah,
And
we're going to talk about that later.
okay, so we'll leave it for later.
Yeah. Let's see. There was also a girl whose whose clit got too big,
Okay.
and she complained about it, uh, being like rubbed painfully in her jeans, and she was advised to get like compression undergarments worn by biological men
What?
because that's what testosterone
What?
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, testosterone grows the clit, so you literally have like a tiny penis.
It's irreversible.
Let's see.
It doesn't like it might shrink a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
it's irreversible. Like they're not
Yeah.
telling these kids that there are changes that they don't want to happen, that some amount of them are likely to happen, and they are by and large irreversible. All these fucking people need to go to prison for medical malpractice. The amount of stuff that needs to happen to write our course
This
as
is the
Western
same.
civil.
This is the same shit as the jabs. Like the doctors know this is wrong, and they keep doing it because they're afraid of falling out of grace with the consensus.
They're
Exactly.
keeping their head down.
They're keeping their
Yeah.
head down. We're going back to the issue at
They
hand.
even say here being put on powerful doses of testosterone or estrogen, enough to trick your body into mimicking the opposite sex, affects the rest of the body. And they're signing up their kid, and a lot of people don't know that they're signing up their kid for blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, and sleep apnea or diabetes. What?
See, but also fuck those parents because they are failing entirely in their duty as parents.
Mm-hmm. And here's hold on, there's more Muish interference. She's mad because when I was hanging out with my friend, his mom made this tuna dish and she smelled tuna on my clothes, and now she's mad because she needs her meat tax.
That's hilarious.
Whether if I have to get the little wet food pouches at the pet store or go out and buy like some type of food with the meat in it. Yeah, she just kicked my phone off my laptop. See? Muish protestations. Okay. Well, yeah, here's this from an email to from a parent to the center, which says, "Please be advised, I'm revoking my consent for this course of medical." What the newish interference? she's being extra muish today
She's being
because
a
I
cunt.
didn't. Yeah, there it is. Please be advised that I'm revoking my consent for this course of medical treatment. Grades have dropped. There's been an inpatient behavioral health visit, and now he's on 5 different medications: Lexapro, Trazodone, Boost Bar, etc. Blank is a shell of his former self, riddled with anxiety. Who knows if it's because of the hormone blockers or other medications?
Stop putting your
I
fucking
revoke.
kids on shrink meds and confront the fact that you fucked up. These parents are also eager to put their kids on all these medications because they don't want to confront the fact that they fucked up. That's why your kids fucked up. It's because of you. No other reason. No other reason needs to be addressed. You fucked up.
Oh, but here we go. Neglected and mentally ill patients. Beside teenage girls, another new group was referred to as young people from the inpatient psychiatric unit or the emergency department.
Oh, someone's angry.
Yes.
This is the most vocal I've ever heard her being.
I know, she's
horny.
No, she's not. She's already sterilized. Horny is not in her vocabulary anymore. She has like what 10 crumbs of kibble she can still eat. She can wait until I have like a little break to give her more, or wait until after the show.
She's a cat. She wait. No. You do what she wants right now.
So yeah. Mentally ill patients. There were diagnoses like schizophrenia, PTSD, bipolar disorder, and more. And we will see some examples later on of why this correlation is like for example, one teenager came with us in the summer of 2022 when he was 17 years old and living in a lockdown facility because he had been abusing dogs.
Oh, quelle surprise.
Oh shit.
He'd had an awful childhood. His mother was an addict, his father was in jail, and he grew up in foster care, and whatever treatment he had been getting wasn't working. Yeah, now she's scratching the wall.
You might as well just feed her something so that.
All right,
It'll take you
try
2
to wrap
minutes to
this
feed
up.
her. You don't have to wrap it up. You could just take a minute.
All
Like
right.
it'll take you a minute to feed her.
Yeah, just
I'll-
discuss
I'll-
what
I'll-
we've read so far. Or
Yeah. Go ahead. We got it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gone. It's so far past. It's so far past gone too far.
Okay, technical problems. Put on the Simpsons drunken cameraman card, please. Okay, please continue with silence. Be silent now.
There we go.
That's better.
Like the resolution to this is at this point. If we were to fix it right now, it would look like Transylvania under the Great Voivod. And I'm not joking or being hyperbolic. If we were to fix everything right now, it would look like the road to Transylvania. Saying right.
Sorry, you broke off. Was it just me?
No, I hear him.
Oh, well, it must have been me. I don't know. Please continue.
You know how Vlad Tepes, the Great Voivod,
Yes.
decorated the road to Transylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Sure.
That's if we were to fix it now, today, that's what it would take to fix it. Every day it takes more.
Mm-hmm.
Every day it's going to take a little bit more. I mean, just it's bad. The amount of medical professionals that are complicit in this, that went along with it, that were good Germans, it's pretty bad.
But this is only happening in first world countries, based on what I'm seeing. Well, mostly
I don't know, but like Thailand isn't a first world country, and it's the place that you go to get the best surgeries.
because it's cheaper.
Or I don't know if that's true anymore, but well, and then do you want cheap surgeries? There's a reason they're cheap. But so I don't know that it is a first world country thing, but it's definitely media proliferated by the apparatus of the first world for sure.
Yeah, Thailand. I don't think they give a shit about trans people. They only want their money.
Sure. But the point being it's there. It's there, and it's there enough for there to be an industry for it.
Oh shit. All right. I was also going to say that Troons also like to champion Iran, when in
Yeah.
reality they only trans guys to avoid homosexuality.
They don't see anything but free
And
surgery.
The same
yeah,
happened with many trans in relation to Japan. They simp a lot for Japan, but Japan has some of the most strict laws in order to transition.
Japan has some of the most strict laws for everything.
Yeah, but I was reading the rules that they give transsexuals in order to transition, and they are insane. For start, they sterilize.
mhm.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the whole process is sterilization anyway, so that's going to happen eventually no matter what.
Yeah, but I think that the reason is that they don't want a man getting pregnant, like you see, for example, in United Kingdom.
I mean, that's not a man's not going to get pregnant. A
Yeah,
woman
but I'm
pretending
talking
to
about.
be a man might.
Well, you
I
know
think
that.
He's talking about
he got you there.
trans men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I know that.
Mhm. All right. So they gave a dog fucker hormones, and then when he got out, he planned to reoffend because he believed that the dogs had willingly submitted. And then another guy, yeah.
And
And
what
then
happened to
there
the
was
other guy?
another guy who had obsessive compulsive disorder that manifested as a desire to cut off his penis after he did the old jerk a pole.
That's just
This patient,
intense
yep,
fappers regret. Like, dude, relax.
yeah. This patient expressed no gender dysphoria, but he got hormones too. And when asked what protocol the doctor was following, never got a straight answer. And then there was like the lack of regard for the rights of parents. So in Missouri, only one parent's consent is required for treatment of the child. But when there was a dispute between parents, it seemed the center always took the side of the affirming parent. A parent. Re the James Younger case.
Oh boy.
Except that was in Texas.
I'd have handled that differently, but I'd be in jail for how I'd handle it.
Maybe not in
So,
Texas.
So in 2019, one of the doctors actually testified in the custody hearing against a father who opposed a mother's wish to start their 11-year-old daughter on puberty blockers. Father opposed a mother's wish to start the 11-year-old daughter on puberty blockers. She found the mother quite disturbing. She and the father were getting divorced, and the mother described the daughter as kind of a tomboy. Red flag there. So now the mother was convinced her child was trans. But when I asked her if her daughter had adopted a boy's name, if she was distressed about her body, if she was saying she felt like a boy, the mother said no. And this Jamie explained that the girl didn't meet the criteria for an evaluation. Then, a month later, the mother called back and said her daughter now used a boy's name, was distressed over her body, and wanted to transition. And they were given an appointment and determined that the girl was trans and given puberty blocker.
And the mother said
That's-
absolutely nothing to the daughter to convince her.
Probably.
Right? Yeah. I think you're going to see there's going to be a trend with these mothers. All of these mothers, they're grotesquely socially opportunistic. All of them are going to be
Or
grotesquely
opportunistic.
Oh.
I think this is just the 2020s version of taking your little girl to a beauty pageant.
Yeah.
You know,
That's exactly what it is. It's exactly that.
just to be like, yeah. Sorry.
Another thing you're going to see in common is that they're tuning their daughters into trans men because they don't want the competition. I've brought up my relative whose wife is doing this to their son, and what's going on is that they have two kids. They have a daughter who's college aged and a son who's high school aged, and the daughter started masculinizing in her early to mid teens, right when her body started feminizing, and her mother is a fat fucking cow, right? And I mean the daughter, she still is, she's a pretty girl, like she's not destroyed by the world yet, she could have a fine life, but you know that the mother is these like watch. I don't know what's a good movie with the evil mother that's just so controlling and so manipulative in these very subtle ways. Talk about microaggressions, right?
I don't know. It's what, Mommy Dearest?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Or you
That's
could
a real
also
good one.
or the Netflix movie about that little girl, Gypsy Rose.
Gypsy Rose. Yeah, that's gonna be
Yeah.
coming up a lot. And
Yeah, she's
the
actually
son-
gonna be. I think she's gonna be released from jail this year.
should throw her a birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
The son, all the stuff that young. God, I couldn't imagine being a young man these days, like being a 13-year-old boy
Dude,
these
I
days.
just saw a video in which someone on a live stream said that only 2 in 20 students at a grade school declared themselves heterosexuals. The rest of them,
that's
the 18 of them, were some sort of LGBT, either gay or trans or bi or whatever.
God. It's like
fuck is
fucking Escape. It's like the hospital from Escape from LA took over the world. Man.
Oh man.
And
Bruce Campbell,
like
the
this,
sergeant. If only.
my relative's son, all that stuff that's going on is enough to feminize him, but you goddamn know that his mother's making these fucking awful comments. Ugh, men, only God, men. Well, if we ran in a matriarchy, patriarchy
That's
is so
exactly
bad.
what it is. That's exactly what it is. I mean, it was already bad when I was in my, let's say, mid-teens to early 20s, when this shit was already bubbling, because Basque Country has always been like a bastion of the radical left here in Spain. But nowadays, with this constant fucking bombardment, what you see in movies, in which the man who's supposed to be the protagonist of his own movie is like cast aside by the women in it and lectured and
Yep.
told to be better. Like, if they had bombarded me with that shit when I was a kid, like, yeah, I would have probably felt guilty of having been born a man myself.
And what happens when this kid starts saying, well, I think I'm a girl? Mommy suddenly loves him. Mommy isn't saying how evil men are. Mommy's saying how wonderful trans girls are, right? Yeah, that's what it is. The fucking rampant epidemic of narcissistic, abusive mothers in Western civilization has got to be stopped. I know how to stop it.
That's why I'm living like 1,000 miles away from my own mother.
Yeah. I mean, my mom was a man hater. She was one of those like illiterate. Well, actually, she read a lot, but like low income isn't the right word, but like uneducated. She didn't fucking go to college or anything. Like, I think I'm so smart, but I'm not, and I just mimic what this niche part of society tells me so that I'll feel good about myself, even though I made all my own bad decisions. And she made a lot of fucking bad decisions. Always had a terrible thing to say about men. It took me a long time into my adulthood to really understand just how permeated growing up around her was with the just total shit talk about men.
Well, my mom wasn't really. I don't think she's much of a man hater. More of like bitter that she had to be a mother so early, and then my undiagnosed problems that frustrated her.
Yeah.
Oh, and on another note, Canales. I don't know if you showed Midnight the picture of Grandma Canales yet, but
Oh yeah, I actually saw.
he
I
needs
actually
to.
should. Yeah, so, yeah. I showed Chimera because he's like obsessed with people's bloodline and their descendants and their ascendancy and all that. Yeah, my maternal grandmother is like me with a wig. It's pretty
I was gonna
fucking
say,
Yeah.
funny.
is it Canales doing the Norma Bates?
It's kind of like that because she's like, I don't know if she's big, but she has like a really thick jaw and like dark sunken eyes. Like he's like a smaller nose than me because my nose, like this elegant aquiline nose that would sit well on the face of a Roman emperor, actually comes from my from my mother's side. But it's pretty fucking eerie, man. It's like
Well,
Mhm.
the DNA like jumped a generation.
So
she's
yeah, if
Basque, right?
Right?
no, Grandma Canales, isn't she like from? She's Manchegan,
Yeah,
right?
she's from La
Okay,
Mancha, from my
got it.
dad's hometown.
But yeah, I told Canales that if he ever tuned, he'd look just like Grandma Canales.
I mean, she definitely got laid,
Obviously.
obviously. So, worst
And
case
and
scenario,
and by Grandpa Canales of all people.
it's it's no small feat. Motherfucker look like Can Noonien Singh. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh,
We're still debating whether or not he fathered Andres Pajares, Grandpa Canales.
He's a Spanish actor who's like slightly older than my dad, and the resemblance is also uncanny. Like he looks like a smaller version of my dad. It's pretty fucking creepy.
Interesting.
Uh, where was anything else? I want my breast back. Let's see.
That's not gonna happen.
Then they're
It's not
gonna.
gonna happen,
Then this one
dummy.
part goes talking about the desisters and the transitioners. Desisters choose not to go with the transition. I guess I would probably be a desister, but I still would like to at least get rid of. I still wish I could like get rid of my breast. And then these transitioners are transgender people who decide to return to their birth gender. Let's see. She did say that they should track desistance and detransition, and that the doctor would want to collect, but they were wrong. And one doctor wondered aloud why he would spend time on someone who is no longer a patient.
All they care about is the revenue streams.
Yeah.
All they fucking care about is the revenue streams and lifetime. It's like there's a term they use, and it's something like lifetime revenue stream or lifetime stream of revenue. That is one of the top 3 most common fucking concepts discussed in. It's got to be over 20 years. How many medical conferences did I sit in? It has to
I
be a
know.
good 100, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't. I don't know where it went, but I had let's see, I had a link to Twitter, I think, where there's email from Rachel Levine, the Troon Health
Yep.
Surgeon General, whatever that thing is, saying that they should do like a ROI on transition or something like that.
Because that's all it's about. That's all it's about. They're keeping their head
Yeah.
down and pursuing those revenue streams.
Yeah, but I can't find it right now. let's see. So they made a list called the Red Flag List, and one of their saddest cases was a teenage girl who came from an unstable family, was in an uncertain living situation, and a history of drug use. She was black. She was put on hormones on the center around 16. When she was 18, she had top surgery. And 3 months later, she came back to saying that she was going back to her birth name and their pronouns were she and her. And then she said, I want my breast back. And then they didn't know what to say because you can't get them back unless they're going to be fake titties.
Teenagers alone. Women are pretty fucking impulsive. Teenage girls are all impulse. They're all impulse.
Yeah.
I have a niece.
And
I have a niece, and I love my niece. One of my other relatives described her as dumb as the table, and I don't like that, but she kind of is. But she's also a teenage girl, and she's all into waving the rainbow flag and Harry Styles and like stupid shit, right? And if you say anything in disagreement with either of those things, like anything in the slightest bit critical, because I talked to her father about the grooming that's going on, and I tell him to make sure to keep a fucking eye out because she's highly susceptible to it. Her response is to like, this is how she like, I don't know, give me, we'll role play it. Like, you be me, I'll be her. Say something mild for me, mildly critical of LGBT shit.
Okay. I think that children that gender transition should start when the patient is over 18.
Oh, I have a better one.
Dad,
Oh, shit.
you don't support LGBT stuff. You don't support. Oh my God, you don't support LGBT stuff. What? You don't support the LGBT community?
And
You're such an istaphobe! Oh my God, you're such an istaphobe!
That's hyperbolic, but what I did wasn't. Like that's almost note for note how she responded to me once. I was like, well, Jamie,
and what happens
calm
if the
fuck
person
down.
who says that is a member of the LGBT community?
Oh, well, they're perfect to her because she's brainwashed. Because that's the path to social acceptance, and she's, terrified of not being
I
socially
find it
accepted.
ironic because when I commented on something when being trans myself, some little goofy goober like your niece pops up and says, "Oh, look at this! Trans people can be transphobic too." I'm like, shut up, child.
They can, but they probably should be.
As I was telling you before, I have accepted my identity now as the Uncle Ruckus of Troons.
Uncle Ruckus is best uncle.
Yep. Damn right, I don't like them Troons cutting them little babies' dicks off. Little baby boys, they need their dicks, but them Troons, they convince them to cut them off and be femboys, and then they go on the OnlyFans and show their butthole to creepy old men who live in basements. Let's see. Here's another example. They received an email from a staff therapist asking for help with the case of a 16-year-old transgender male living in another state. Parents are open to having patients see a therapist but are not supportive of gender, and patient does not want parents to be aware of gender identity. I'm having a challenging time finding a gender-affirming therapist. And then Jamie replied, I do not ethically agree with linking a minor patient to a therapist who would be gender-affirming with gender as a focus of their work without that being discussed with parents and the parent agreeing to that kind of care. So what else? And then they were told to stop questioning the medicine and the science as well as their authority. And they either had to get on board or get out.
How dare you question the church? It's the same fucking thing. It's the same fucking thing. Oh, my science. Jesus Christ, we are living in We're living in South
The
Park.
s- the science trademark, and then I guess now they're working in a different part of the Washington University. So she's working at the Washington University School of Medicine and left in November of 22. And what do you want to see happen? Um, well, even though she wants to put everything behind her, she heard comments from Dr. Rachel, quotation marks, ah, Levine, who is the high official at the Department of Health and Human Services, who once says that clinics are proceeding carefully and that no American children are receiving drugs or hormones for gender dysphoria who shouldn't. She felt stunned and sickened. It wasn't true, and she knows from deep firsthand experience. And then she wrote everything down and brought concerns to the attention of Missouri's Attorney General, who is a Republican. But the safety of children should not be a matter for culture wars, which sadly it is. And then, let's see what else. Past 15 years, there's been no pediatric gender clinics to more than 100. Let's see. Anything else? Let's see. The Tavistock's gender clinic was closed in England, and Sweden and Finland have also investigated the pediatric transition and greatly curbed the practice. So good on Sweden and Finland. And yeah, I guess that's it for that article. Yeah, an eye-opening look in the tuning. Oh, did you want me to do the one about Rachel Levine?
Why the fuck not? It's bound to be funny.
All right. Because
I
Midnight
have
put
to,
it in
I
the.
have to leave early tonight, so I'm just gonna slip out real quick. Everybody, take it easy.
All right.
Don't get us struck again, because we're gonna have to change everything if we get another strike this soon.
I know.
All right, take it easy.
We're not.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any. I don't know what's going to. I don't know. We're just so.
Maybe we can do just about pair a couple more articles and just call it a night.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's run through this one and then we got some. Yeah. Let's see. Let's just do clip notes. Assistant Secretary for Health Rachel Levine discussed revenue opportunities resulting from hiring a gender clinic social worker while Levine was serving as Pennsylvania's acting Secretary of Health, according to emails obtained by parental rights activist Megan Brock and reviewed by the Daily Caller. The pair discussed the potential return on investment and downstream revenue generated by social workers at gender clinics, particularly through surgical referrals. I'm trying to give them some numbers to help them realize the eventual ROI for this necessary position, the doctor wrote. Even if the patients under 18 who go for surgery might be limited, the patients we start will eventually be over 18, so I think that's worthwhile. Of course, I think it is worthwhile no matter what. Ghastly. Impeach this dude.
Or whatever the fuck it is.
We all know what Rachel Levine is. It's in the last name.
Like, oh, early life check.
Sheriff, gunman kills 6, including ex-wife in Mississippi.
Oh shit! It isn't in Tupelo, right?
No, this is in the north. This is the north of Mississippi, in Tate County, in a place called Arkabootla.
Dude, you never know.
Arkabutla.
Did you guys hear about was it Russian Deadpool? The Russian Deadpool guy?
No.
No.
No, he was a pretty famous dude in social media. He was like a very vocal feminist activist, and he was famous because I think he lived with 2 chicks. He had like a polyamorous relationship, and he liked to cosplay as Deadpool, like put like drug comics I don't exactly remember the thing, but if you Google it, you'll probably find something about it. Well, it turns out he actually murdered one of his girlfriends. Like I think he shot him. He shot her on his driveway, because that's these motherfuckers do that shit all the time because they're mentally ill and they're like, yeah, Midnight in Exile remembers Russian Deadpool. Yeah, kind of
Damn.
hilarious because it was predictable. Boy, was it? Was
Hmm.
it?
Anyways, a lone gunman killed 6 people, including his ex-wife and stepfather, Friday at multiple locations in a tiny rural community in northern Mississippi. Sadly, Tupelo is in the south. Armed with shotgun and 2 handguns, 52-year-old Richard Dale Crum opened fire about 11 a.m. and killed a man in the driver's seat of a pickup truck parked outside a convenience store in Arcaboutla near the Tennessee state line. Let's see. Deputies were working the crime scene, and then a second 911 call came to find another shooting a mile away. So they arrived at a home and they found a woman who the sheriff identified as Crum's ex-wife shot dead and her current husband wounded. Um, they caught up with him outside of his own home and arrested him. And behind the residence, they found 2 handymen slain by gunfire, one on the road, another in an SUV. And in a neighboring home, they discovered the bodies of Crum's stepfather and his stepfather's sister. And here's the individual.
Oh, I hope him to be black.
Yeah. Let's see. He was jailed without bond on a single charge of capital murder, and investigators were working to bring additional charges. It was not immediately known if Crum had an attorney who would speak on his behalf. So, yeah, screw you, guy. Uh, let's see. Um, let's. Speaking of Russians, let's do. We'll save these for another time. But yeah, speaking of Russians, top Russian military official dead after fall from 16th floor. Why does it keep happening?
Was it
Uh,
climate change?
I don't know.
Was it,
Russian
was it
military official in charge of financial provisions for the military district blamed for the Kremlin's worst losses in Ukraine has been found dead after a nasty fall from a St. Petersburg high-rise. Marina Yankina, who was the head of the Department of Financial Provisions, was found dead on a sidewalk on Wednesday morning, according to multiple reports. She is just the latest in a growing list of Russian military officials, defense industry figures, war critics, and gas and oil execs to die suddenly and mysteriously since the start of the full-scale invasion last year.
you have disappointed Putin for the last time?
Mm-hmm. They say that her belongings and documents were found on a balcony on the 16th floor of the building. The investigative committee is looking into the circumstances of the deadly plunge, with their preliminary conclusion being suicide. And then prior to joining the Western Military District, Yankino worked in the Federal Tax Service. Yeah. But yeah. Weird how Russians keep falling out of windows. Alright. Let's say we have some people to say goodbye to. Law and Order guy Richard Belzer died.
What?
Oh
Yep.
no!
Yep.
It's
Richard Belzer, good old
the guy.
munch boy, has
I don't-
reportedly died at 78. Um, his longtime family friend confirmed the news of his passing, adding that the actor had died at home with his family around him. Let's see. I didn't know that his cousin was Henry Winkler, aka the Fonz. And apparently his last words were, "Fuck you, motherfucker."
Yep, That's a sentence for the ages.
Yep, he's most famous at being Detective John Munch on Homicide: Life in the Street and Law and Order Special Victims Unit. I also remember he used to have like a late night show, and he was like choked out by some wrestler. I can't remember which one though.
Huh. Well, I only
But
remember that I always confused him with Peter Coyote for some reason.
uh,
Peter Coyote, the actor.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't know
so.
why I always mixed the two of them, like I used to Pacino and De Niro when I was a kid.
All right, well, R.I.P. in peace,
Yeah,
Richard Belzer, aka
he's a really unique guy. Well, he was a really unique guy. I mean, look at him.
John Munch.
Yeah,
He played like the conspiracy guy. He was like the conspiracy cop,
Yeah,
which
and many say is the reason because the character made crossovers in different series, and one of those series was the X Files.
yeah, yeah, right here. Let's see. What did I say? Yeah, he skyrocketed fame with the staple character Munch in '93 that appeared in 11 different shows across multiple networks, from The X Files to Risk Development and even The Wire. So R.I.P. Mr. Bells. Also, Boomer's lost one. Raquel Welch.
oh yeah, oh
She's dead.
yeah, that fucking sucks.
Let's see. She died at 82. She passed away peacefully early this morning after a brief
Oh
illness.
shit!
So, R.I.P. in peace. And she was still pretty. She was still pretty, smoking
Yeah,
even today.
yeah. I mean, there's probably some surgical magic going on, but yeah, she was still delectable. And man, I remember her being. I remember my first contact with Raquel Welch was in the Naked Gun movie. I think it was the third movie, the one with Fred Ward, and they're trying to like
Okay.
bomb the Oscars.
Yeah.
And she was there like making a cameo, reading some awards, shit, like some I wanted some envelopes or something. And I remember thinking, I was like, I don't know, maybe 12 years old. I remember thinking, who's that chick? She's fucking hot. And yeah, I think it was my dad who told me, yeah, that's Raquel Welch.
She's the one
Yeah.
of the poster in that futuristic
In
movie.
Shawshank's Redemption.
No, that's
Yeah.
Rita Hayworth, but close enough.
Well, in the book it
No,
was
no,
Rita
no.
Hayworth, but then they changed it to
The second poster, the
Oh,
one in the second poster.
oh,
Oh,
okay. I,
yeah.
I, I haven't watched that movie in like since I was a kid, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, right. I think they used the Rita Hayworth poster first, and then they covered it with the Raquel Welch poster.
Yeah, because remember that several years happens between the first one and the second one, so he had to update
Oh.
his wall.
Oh, right. All right. Oh. Lisa Loring, the original Wednesday Addams. She died after a massive stroke.
Oh, was it a stroke, or was it, cold
A stroke
showers?
caused by high blood pressure.
Mm,
Yep. She was only 64.
right.
Meanwhile, how's it called? How's it called the guy who made Gomez Adams?
Um,
John Astin.
yeah, John Aston.
Mm.
He's the only living
Cast member.
cast member.
Yeah.
So R.I.P. in peace, little Wednesday.
Do you know if she make a cameo in the new Wednesday series?
I didn't say. Not a death, but still sad. if you haven't heard it yet, but Bruce Willis has been diagnosed with
Yep.
frontotemporal dementia.
Yep, that sucks.
So first he had aphasia, and now he has dementia. So here he is, just chilling on the beach, being happy.
Like it breaks my heart because for a while I really liked Bruce Willis and anything he
Mhm.
was in. I remember his fucking dialogues in Last Boy Scout. I think that everybody remembers Bruce Willis from Die Hard, but my favorite Bruce Willis was in Last Boy Scout. I think that's when he reached like his authentic Bruce Willis essence. And it really pains me to know that I will never hear dialogues like that again because this his brain is now turned into mush,
Mhm.
probably due to this concoction that he himself said he was forced to take.
I my favorite Bruce Willis movie what has to be Death Becomes Her.
Oh yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Well, when I first saw it, I was a small child then, and I thought Bruce Willis in that movie looked just like my dad. Balding mustache, thick glasses. But yeah.
But in my case, I like that movie because you see Bruce Willis in a role outside his usual, you know, action hero role.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Well, frontotemporal dementia is an umbrella term for a group of brain disorders that tend to happen between the ages of 40 and 65. So yeah, it's a cruel disease that many of us has never heard and can strike anyone. For people under 60, FTD is the most common form of dementia, and because getting a diagnosis can take years, FTD is likely much more prevalent than we know. And so, we wish Bruce all the best.
Yep. Oh shit.
Oh, what the? It was something stupid. Anyways, let's do this first, and then let's do this article first, and then we'll save the Yanzi stuff for last. The Shane Davis debacle. Ah! Oops. I hit the wrong thing. So an activist threatens to
Oh,
end J.K. Rowling.
I wonder what we can do to normalize our condition and not make people believe we're mentally ill. Oh, I know.
A, a trans activist and author who signed a petition against the New York Times for publishing favorable pieces on the gender critical author J.K. Rowling has publicly threatened to end her and other foes. Gretchen Felker Martin, a Massachusetts-based author of the 2022 horror book Manhunt, has come under fire from a now deleted tweet in which a series of writers, including Rowling, were accused of anti-trans bigotry. If they all had one throat, man, this individual wrote.
I'm mildly and morbidly curious about what Manhunt is about. I think we
Well,
can. You know?
Canales, don't wonder no more. In
Oh.
Manhunt, a story about a
Mm,
transgender woman scavenging for estrogen and
mm,
hunting feral men and harvesting their organs in a
right,
post-apocalyptic world.
right.
As
That's
if it as
you know.
if they would literally do that. As if they would literally do that.
I don't. I hate to be on the same line of thought of all those Puritans that used to criticize us uh, horror aficionados and like Stephen King readers and like horror movie and gore movie viewers by saying that we had something wrong with our brains because we enjoyed all that violence and all that gore and all that darkness. But knowing these people firsthand, yeah, that's what it sounds like. There's something wrong with their brains, there's something wrong with their souls, and they enjoy violence and horror and pain infliction a bit too much from what I've seen. You know?
Mm. I mean, the book literally has writing a novel where J.K. Rowling was burnt alive.
What?
Yeah, critically acclaimed trans horror author who signed letter decrying New York Times transgender cover threatens to end J.K. Rowling after writing a novel where Harry Potter author was burned alive. Let's see. And this is because they posted a article about in the defense of J.K. Rowling. This is why every troon in the world has their every troon in the goddamn world has their um panties all up in a bunch. So there was an open letter. So an open letter published by the Gay Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, or GLAD. Yeah, and usually if someone is for defamation, it usually means that it's not defamation against them. They just want to defame those critical. Um, who demanded that the Times improve their coverage of transgender people. And among the other signers were Judd Apatow, sad, Gabriel Union Wade, Jamila Jamil, not surprised, Margaret Cho, another kind of
It's amazing how I don't
sad,
like any of any of those people except maybe Gabrielle Union. I remember thinking she was hot in
and
Cradle to
Lena
the Grave.
Dunham.
Oh, oh yeah, that's the icing on the cake. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
I think we've been ignoring Midnight on the comment section.
Oh, let's see.
It's really midnight or is yes?
Yeah,
No, that's
I'm
Midnight.
still I'm still listening. I have to do some work I had to do. I remember Russian Dead was kind of hilarious because it was predictable. Bruce Willis is who I would cast to play my stepfather in a movie about railroad life.
He does. I mean, I don't want to dox him, but he's got a Bruce Willis thing going on in person. If you were meeting,
Yeah, my dad does too. If Bruce Willis was fatter, that's my dad.
and yeah, Willis started as a romantic comedy lead. Yeah, I remember he was in Moonlight, and when he was cast as an action lead on Die Hard, nobody thought
Mm-hmm.
that would work because he was too much of a funny guy.
Let's see. But yeah, another writer was Jesse Singal, who condemned the death threat and the horror's author history of harassing him in a Substack post. Yeah, he has a post that says, "I'd like Gretchen Felker Martin to stop tweeting violent and sexual things about me." Updated. And brought up multiple instances of trans activists tweeting disturbing and violent things about him. Cis people, fix your hearts or die. One 2019 tweet read, "Bing Jesse Single with strong rope and bring him to the quarry at the edge of town. Give us to him alive and unspoiled. Leave, and no matter what sounds you hear, don't look back." And then, yeah, he writing reprehensible shit about this guy who's doing nothing. Let's see. That's it again. That's it about that. But yeah, were we just saying in the whistleblower that a lot of were like mental patients? Because I think this individual isn't far off from that kid who got the hormones because he liked to do nasty things with dogs. But anyways, let's do a little lighthearted to end the show.
Let's please.
Our good old CG Tiger lady, Yanzi Lin, wife of comic artist Shane Davis. They made the comic Starlight Cats. She received this letter from the doctor's office. Last week, I refused the COVID-19 vaccine during our daughter's 15-month well visit. This came today. And it says, Dear parent slash guardian, you can help prevent potentially life-threatening childhood diseases wherever they may be hiding by making sure your child gets CDC recommended vaccinations. Records show that your child may have missed a vaccination. Bolded letters. Please contact your children's doctor to find out if you need to schedule an appointment. It's important to keep your child up to date on CDC recommended vaccinations. And then she adds, and before I get called an anti-vaxxer, to our date, our child has every recommended vaccination on schedule.
Well, yay for Yancy.
And for Shane, because Shane also, I'm pretty sure he didn't accepted all this bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Didn't you want to say anything else about Yanzi?
Myself.
Yeah.
It was related to the previous topic about the trans kids and all that issue.
Yeah.
Because Shane was mentioning yesterday that they are starting to see a lot of this bullshit in doctors like the one they are seeing for pterodactyl. That
Mm-hmm.
they're pro trans kid and all this bullshit, and it's incredible the impact that this has on people because Jancy, is a woman who likes stuff like comics, very geeky stuff. And Shane mentioned that the other day that they went to buy clothes for pterodactyl. Jancy saw a little dress that she loved it. But the thing
Mm-hmm.
with the dress is that it had the rainbow symbol. And Jancy admitted, I can't believe it, but these people had made me, to a certain degree, not like anymore the rainbow symbol.
Mm-hmm.
So,
They've definitely ruined a lot of things for us
yeah,
nowadays.
they
Yeah.
they changed the meaning of that thing.
Like having cats. I've always loved having cats. Now these motherfuckers have given it all sorts of like negative connotations for me. You know.
I mean, well, as a proud slave of a meal, I beg to differ. Yeah, she says that she's not going to do it. And it's only 51% effective. And of course, they say that kids are 99% safe. But yeah, good on Yancy.
Mm-hmm. Yay, Yancy. Yay, Yancy. Oh, that's. I never even
Yancy.
thought of that. It just happened.
Yep. All right, so let's wrap this up. Um, what you got going on for this week?
Well, same thing we do every week, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Oh, and Mega, what the other day I showed Canales the Orson Welles commercials.
There's too much directing going on over here.
Uh, the ones in which he made commercials of wine and all that stuff.
No, the ones where he's like doing the frozen peas and he's like,
Oh yeah,
"What
I
do you
remember
mean?
those.
This is winter. Why is the frozen peas and like the fish sticks?"
This is not written in a in conversational way. That's fucking Orson Welles, dude.
And they did the full parody with Brain
Yeah.
in Animaniacs.
Well, do you remember this animated series called The Critic?
Yes.
They also
Mm-hmm.
make fun of him several times.
I love as a young movie buff. I love the critic, like the jabs they would take at movies that I loved and actors. And I remember the Keanu Reeves skit in which they make a sequel to Speed, in which he has to speed read.
Oh yeah.
It's like opposite Dennis Hopper, and he's like explaining the terms to him, like if you read slower than I don't know 3 words per minute from this book, this building will explode. And Keanu is like, My name is Boom."
Oh no.
Fucking
Oh
funny. Poor,
god.
poor Keanu, poor Keanu. We all love
That's
Keanu.
something I need to watch again.
I also remember something that was very funny, in which Schwarzenegger is a uh, uncover, no undercover, sorry, as a Jewish rabbin.
Oh, Jewish rabbi.
Yeah, and
Hello, I am a rabbi.
The
and in
synagogue
one
cop.
and in that one scene, there is a guy who is testing him because he says that he's an undercover agent. They say, "Come on, make the circumcision. I'm watching you." And instead of that, he turns back and throws the knife at him and kills him. Say, "I never hear that baby."
Have a bagula, baby.
Yeah, you ain't seeing shows like that again. Those times are long gone.
I mean, Family Guy tried and failed.
Family Guy is the most derivative and funny show I've ever seen. I'm sorry, I never understood how it
Mhm.
became so popular.
I
Uh,
mean, I mean, if you turn your brain off, some jokes are funny. Like today, I was making the greens joke
Ah,
today.
the means, yeah. I mean, sure,
The
like
greens.
this, they make so many jokes per minute that some of them are bound to be funny, but
Yeah.
overall, it's like, eh, it's like 80s reference, 80s
uh,
reference, 80s
yeah,
reference. Stew is
Hmm.
now openly gay. It's not that it's a problem. It's like it's Flanderization, like Flanders used to be like a more complex character, and now he's just Flanders.
yeah. That's the
Yeah.
problem with Family Guy. It pretty
Yeah,
much patronized everyone.
yeah. Stewie used to be
Hmm.
like this s-
Like
smart,
this evil little baby.
smooth
Yeah,
British guy with a big brain. Now he's gay. Like he's openly. That's how it is. Like that's
Brian
boring.
was the voice of reason. Now, what is Brian? A
Now
smooth
he's
smartest?
yeah.
Well, isn't he
Hmm.
dead? Did they kill him?
Now he came back.
Oh yeah,
They brought
Like
him back.
Kelso,
Hen.
Kelso
But
Priest.
for a while they had Polly Walnut's voice a dog, and that was their dog for a while.
Tony Serico,
Yep. R.I.P. in peace to that guy.
R.I.P. Tony,
Anyways,
and
Omega, what
Tony
have you got
R.I.P.
going on for this week?
I'm going back to work, and I have to finish the new commissions.
Hmm. Get that money, money, money. I have to do the work too.
Well, there is a comic convention next month, and Jim Lee's coming. And if I want his autograph, I'm gonna spend a shit ton of money because I want more than one.
Oh, who's
Yeah,
gonna be at the convention?
Jim Lee.
Oh,
yeah. No, he's gonna be at the convention, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
nice, nice. Anyways, as for me, I'm just gonna be working and hanging out with my new um firefighter cat loving friend.
He's
Mm?
ba- he's basically Peruvian Hassan Piker, right?
Yeah, but he's based.
Oh shit! I'm glad to know there's still based people in South America. They're not like succumbing to fucking communism.
Yeah, he looks like Hassan Piker, but he's not. He does he's Hassan Piker in physicality, but not uh ideology, personality,
Um,
and
Thank Jesus.
Argentina counts as South America.
yes.
Well, then you have
Don't
Pablo Arcadia.
yeah, shut up! I knew you were gonna say it.
He's pretty
Shut.
damn basic.
I know, but he's off limits now.
Why?
Oh, he's married and he has
Just
a kid,
because
and I
he's
don't believe that
married?
shit. I've learned my lesson dealing with single parents. And it's not. Unless the child is over 18. So, anyways, fuck you. You know I want to get my jaw broken by Diego Peretti anyways.
Oh yeah.
I want him to leave me breathless and blue. He must leave me breathless and blue. Anyways, that's the end of the show. Everyone say goodbyes. Bye.
Adios.